Maya Hayes! What the hell did I tell you about sitting there? The white woman stormed across the cafeteria. Her heels clicked like gunshots on the tile floor. Mrs. Whitmore, I'm sorry, Sorry? You think sorry cuts it? The woman grabbed the girl's arm, twisted it, hard. These tables are for real families who pay real money, not charity cases like you. She yanked the 12-year-old out of her seat. The lunch tray crashed to the floor. Food splattered everywhere. Laughter erupted from nearby tables. Please, my dad pays the same. Your dad? The woman shoved her toward the corner. Your daddy is probably some welfare leech who lied on your application. Now get back there with the rest of the diversity hires before I have you expelled. A man appeared in the doorway, brown paper bag dangling from frozen fingers. His mouth opened. No sound came out. He watched his daughter stumble toward a dark corner, head down, shoulders shaking. Have you ever discovered your child was living a nightmare you knew nothing about? 6 hours earlier, Jonathan Hayes sat in his office in Washington, D.C. Papers covered every surface of his desk. Budget reports, reform proposals, investigation files. The brass nameplate on his door read simple words, Secretary of Education, United States Department of Education. 3 months in this position. 3 months of 14-hour days. 3 months trying to fix a broken system from the top down. His phone buzzed. A reminder popped up on the screen. Maya's birthday. 12 years old today. Jonathan leaned back in his leather chair. When did his daughter turn 12? When did he last have breakfast with her? Last week? 2 weeks ago? He scrolled through his messages. Maya's texts were always the same, short, cheerful. School's good, Dad. Don't worry about me. Focus on your work. His assistant knocked on the door. Sir, the conference call with the governor starts in 5 minutes. Jonathan stared at the reminder on his phone. Maya's smiling face looked back at him from his lock screen. That photo was from last year. Her first day at Pemberton Academy. She wore her new uniform. Pride radiated from her eyes. He'd chosen Pemberton carefully. Best private school in the state. $45,000 a year. Worth every penny for the inclusive, progressive environment they promised. Their brochure showed diverse students laughing together, learning together, thriving together. Maya deserved that. After her mother died 3 years ago, Maya deserved every good thing this world could offer. Cancel the call, Jonathan said suddenly. His assistant blinked. Sir? Cancel it. Reschedule for tomorrow. He grabbed his coat. I'm going to see my daughter. The drive from D.C. to Pemberton took 2 hours. Jonathan spent the first 30 minutes on calls, policy discussions, budget negotiations, the usual chaos. Then he turned off his phone, rolled down the windows, let the spring air fill the car. He thought about Maya's voice last night on their call. She'd sounded tired, distant. When he asked if everything was okay, she said yes, always yes. But something in her tone made him pause, a hesitation, a catch in her breath. He'd let it go. Told himself she was probably just exhausted from schoolwork, from adjusting to a new environment. Now that hesitation gnawed at him. Jonathan pulled into a deli near the school, the same place he and Maya used to go before her mother passed, their special spot. He ordered 2 sandwiches, turkey and Swiss, extra pickles, Maya's favorite. The woman behind the counter smiled. Haven't seen you in a while. Work, Jonathan said. Too much work. She'll be happy to see you. Would she? He'd been so absent lately, so consumed by his mission to reform education nationwide, so focused on helping millions of children he barely knew. He'd forgotten to show up for the one child who mattered most. Jonathan parked in the visitor lot at Pemberton Academy. The building rose before him like a monument to wealth. Stone columns, manicured lawns, a fountain in the center courtyard. He walked to the front office, showed his ID, not his federal credentials, just his driver's license. Jonathan Hayes, Maya's father, regular parent. The secretary barely looked up. "Sign in here. Visitor badge. You know where the cafeteria is?" "Yes, thank you." She handed him a sticker badge. Generic, yellow. "Visitor," printed in bold letters. Jonathan walked through the halls. Marble floors, dark wood panels, photos of distinguished alumni lined the walls, all white faces, century after century of privilege staring down at him. He pushed the thought away. This was a good school. They'd accepted Maya. They'd promised an opportunity, equality, excellence. The cafeteria doors appeared ahead. Sounds of laughter and conversation drifted through. Normal, happy, safe. Jonathan smiled. He'd surprise Maya. They'd eat lunch together. Maybe he'd take her out early, spend the afternoon together, make up for lost time. He adjusted the paper bag in his hand, pushed open the door, and saw his daughter's face crumple as a white woman grabbed her arm, saw her stumble, saw milk hit the floor, saw tears streak down her cheeks, heard the words, "Scholarship trash, diversity quota, you people." The bag slipped from his fingers, hit the ground with a soft thud nobody else heard, because everyone was watching Maya, watching her humiliation, some laughing, some recording on their phones, some just staring, silent, complicit. Jonathan couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't process what his eyes were showing him. This was the school he'd chosen, the school he'd trusted. The school paid $45,000 a year to keep his daughter safe. Jonathan stood paralyzed. His brain struggled to connect what he saw with where he was. This couldn't be Pemberton Academy. The school with the glossy brochures, the diversity awards on their website, the testimonials from happy families. This couldn't be real. Maya picked herself up from the floor. Milk soaked into her uniform. The white woman towered over her, arms crossed, face twisted with disgust. "Clean that up, now." "Yes, Mrs. Whitmore." Maya knelt, started gathering pieces of her lunch tray. Her hands shook. Other students walked past, stepped over her. Some laughed. One kicked a piece of bread further away. Jonathan's feet moved forward, then stopped. "Wait, look. Understand what's happening here." He stepped to the side, positioned himself behind a support column, pulled out his phone, started recording. The cafeteria layout revealed itself slowly, like a curtain pulling back on a stage. Center tables, large, cushioned chairs, good lighting from the tall windows. Maybe 40 students sat there, laughing, eating, relaxed, every single one of them white, far corner, near the kitchen entrance, near the trash bins and the loading dock door. Hard wooden benches, fluorescent lights that buzzed and flickered. 7 students, all black or Latino. Heads down, eating quickly, trying to be invisible. A wall ran down the invisible middle of the room. Not physical, but absolutely. Jonathan's chest tightened. How did he not know? How did he not see? Maya finished cleaning. She carried her ruined lunch toward the corner section, toward the shadows. A group of white girls stood up as she approached. The one in front crossed her arms. Brittany Whitmore. He recognized her from parent orientation, Patricia Whitmore's granddaughter. "Watch where you're going, scholarship girl." "Sorry, I just need to—" "You just need to remember your place." Brittany shoved Maya's shoulder. "My grandmother runs this cafeteria. She says you people should eat outside with the garbage." Laughter rippled through nearby tables. Phones came out, started recording. This was entertainment. Maya kept her head down, moved past them, sat at the end of a bench, alone. Even the other students of color kept their distance, like her humiliation might be contagious. Jonathan's finger pressed harder on the record button. His other hand gripped the column, knuckles white. A young teacher walked past Maya, mid-20s, Latina. She glanced at Maya's tear-stained face. Her eyes held something. Sympathy? Guilt? She kept walking. Another teacher, older, white man with gray hair. He stood 10 feet from where Brittany had shoved Maya. He'd seen everything, done nothing. Now he chatted with other teachers, laughed at something someone said. The system wasn't broken here. It was working exactly as designed. Patricia Whitmore emerged from the kitchen area. She surveyed her domain like a general inspecting troops. Her gaze swept across the center tables, nodded with satisfaction, then landed on the corner. She marched over. Her sensible shoes struck the floor with authority. Maya Hayes. Maya jumped, looked up. Yes, ma'am? Did you try to sit at a premium table again? I just thought maybe you thought wrong. Patricia grabbed the girl's chin, forced her to look up. How many times do I have to explain this? Those tables are reserved for families who contribute. Real families, not affirmative action cases. My dad pays the same tuition as... The slap echoed through the cafeteria. Not hard enough to leave a mark, but hard enough to sting, hard enough to shock, hard enough to establish dominance. Conversations stopped. Students turned to watch. Patricia leaned down, her face inches from Maya's. Don't you dare talk back to me. Your kind gets in here through quotas, through pity. You want to sit at the good tables? Tell your daddy to donate a building. Until then, you eat where I tell you to eat. Maya's bottom lip trembled. She bit down on it, trying not to cry again, trying to hold together whatever dignity she had left. Jonathan's vision blurred. Red crept in from the edges. His daughter, his baby girl, taking abuse from this woman. He started forward, stopped himself again. No. Get it all. Make sure there's no doubt. No way for them to deny it. No way for them to explain it away. A Latino boy, maybe 13. Raised his hand at a nearby table. Mrs. Whitmore, may I get more water? Patricia didn't even look at him. You had your chance during your designated refill time. Sit down. But I'm really thirsty. I have soccer practice after... I said sit down! Patricia's voice cracked like a whip. You diversity students get 1 water refill. 1. If you can't manage that, bring water from home. The boy lowered his hand, sat back down, defeated. Jonathan watched a white student get up, walk to the water fountain, fill his bottle, walk back. Nobody said a word to him. 2 minutes later, another white student did the same thing. Then another. The rules weren't rules. They were weapons, applied selectively, designed to remind certain students they didn't belong. A black girl, maybe 14, stood up with her empty tray, started walking toward the trash bins near the center tables, the shortest path. Patricia materialized in front of her like a security guard. Where do you think you're going? To throw away my trash, ma'am. Not through here, you're not. Scholarship students use the bins by the back door. But that's all the way... Did I stutter? Patricia pointed. Back door. Now. Before I write you up for insubordination. The girl turned around, walked the long way, past the kitchen, past the loading dock, to throw away trash in a bin that was probably 50 yards from where she started. Jonathan's phone timer showed 12 minutes of footage. 12 minutes of systematic, deliberate, cruel discrimination. And Maya sat through this every single day. How long? How many months? She started at Pemberton in September. It was now April. 7 months. 7 months of eating lunch in a corner, of being shoved, of being slapped, of being reminded she didn't belong. 7 months of coming home and saying, "School's good, Dad." 7 months of protecting him from the truth, his baby girl, his brave, beautiful baby girl, carrying this weight alone because she didn't want to burden him, didn't want to distract him from his important work. What kind of father was he? Patricia walked back to the center of the cafeteria. She clapped her hands twice, sharp, commanding. "Attention! Attention, everyone!" Students quieted down, all eyes on her. "I want to remind you all of the cafeteria standards at Pemberton Academy. This is an institution built on excellence, built by families who value quality, who value tradition." She gestured toward the center tables. "These families have contributed millions to make this school great. They deserve premium treatment." She turned, pointed directly at the corner, at Maya, at the other students of color. "And these students? They're here because the government forces us to hit diversity numbers, because we have to check boxes to keep our funding. But make no mistake, there is a hierarchy here. There is an order, and everyone needs to respect it." A few parents sitting at volunteer tables nodded. One woman actually clapped. Patricia's eyes landed on Maya again. "Some people don't understand their place. Some people think they can just sit anywhere, do anything, act like they're equal to students whose families actually built this place." She walked over, stood directly over Maya. "But they're not equal. Are they, Maya?" Maya stared at her lap, silent. "I asked you a question. Are you equal to the real Pemberton students?" "No, ma'am." The words came out broken, barely audible. "Louder, so everyone can hear." "No, ma'am." Tears dripped onto Maya's skirt. "That's right. You're not. And you never will be." Patricia straightened up, smiled, satisfied with her lesson. She turned and walked back toward the kitchen. Jonathan's hands shook. The phone nearly slipped from his grip. 17 minutes of footage now. 17 minutes of his daughter being destroyed piece by piece. Enough. Enough evidence. Enough observation. Enough restraint. He stepped out from behind the column, placed the phone in his jacket pocket, still recording. Audio would capture everything now. He walked across the cafeteria. His footsteps seemed impossibly loud. Students turned to look. Conversations faltered. Something in his expression made people nervous. He reached Maya's table, placed his hand gently on her shoulder. She looked up. Her eyes went wide. "Dad?" Her face transformed. Relief crashed into terror. Happy he was here, terrified of what it meant. "Hi, baby." His voice stayed calm, controlled. "I brought you lunch." Patricia noticed him now. Turned. Walked back over. Her expression shifted from surprise to annoyance. "And who are you?" Jonathan looked at her. Really looked at her. Memorized her face. This woman who hurt his child. This woman was about to learn what justice felt like. "I'm Maya's father, and we need to talk about what you've been doing to my daughter." Patricia's eyes narrowed. She looked Jonathan up and down, dismissed him in a single glance. "Your daughter has been repeatedly violating cafeteria protocols. She refuses to follow simple instructions about seating arrangements." "Seating arrangements?" Jonathan's voice stayed level. "You mean segregation?" Gasps rippled through nearby tables. The word hung in the air like smoke. Patricia's face flushed red. "How dare you? This is about maintaining order, about respecting the families who fund this institution. Your daughter sits where scholarship students sit. That's policy." "My daughter isn't on scholarship. I pay full tuition, $45,000. I've reviewed every file in this cafeteria." Patricia crossed her arms. Maya Hayes, diversity admission, accepted through the Equity Initiative, which means scholarship, which means she follows scholarship rules. Diversity admission doesn't mean scholarship. She earned her spot, and I pay full freight. Patricia laughed, sharp, mocking. Sure you do. And I'm supposed to believe a man who shows up in a cheap suit and drives a 10-year-old sedan pays 45 grand? Please. Maya tugged on Jonathan's sleeve. Dad, let's just go. Please. He squeezed her hand. Not yet, baby. Patricia stepped closer, invaded his space. Listen to me very carefully. I don't know what story you told admissions. I don't care. But in my cafeteria, there are rules. Premium donors get premium treatment. Your kind gets what's left over. Don't like it? There's the door. My kind? Jonathan's jaw tightened. Oh, don't start with the race card. Patricia rolled her eyes. I'm talking about income, about contribution, about people who actually matter to this school's success versus people who are here to make us look diverse in the brochures. A white man in a suit approached. Late 50s, gray hair, Principal David Anderson. Jonathan recognized him from orientation. Is there a problem here, Patricia? This man is disrupting lunch service, harassing staff, making baseless accusations. Anderson turned to Jonathan. Didn't ask for his side, didn't ask what happened, just frowned. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave campus. I'm asking why my daughter is being segregated and abused. Segregated? Anderson's voice dripped with condescension. That's a serious allegation. Do you have any evidence to support such a claim? Jonathan patted his jacket pocket. Yes, I do. Let me see it. No, not yet. Anderson's expression hardened. Then I'm afraid you need to leave. Now. Before I have security remove you. I have a right to know why my daughter is being mistreated. Your daughter isn't being mistreated. Anderson gestured around the cafeteria. She's eating lunch in a safe, clean environment. If you have complaints about seating arrangements, you can schedule a formal meeting with my office, but you will not storm in here during lunch service and cause a scene. Patricia stepped forward again, emboldened by Anderson's support. Do you know how many calls I get from parents complaining about diversity students? Dozens. They pay premium prices and don't want their children sitting next to charity cases. We have to balance everyone's needs. By making 12-year-olds eat next to garbage bins? That corner has the same food, the same tables, the same access to education as everywhere else. If your daughter feels excluded, that's a personal problem, not a school problem. Maya started crying harder. Her shoulders shook. Other students stared. Some recorded on phones. This was content, drama, entertainment. Jonathan knelt beside his daughter. Baby, look at me. We're going to fix this. Dad, please. I just want to go home. Patricia's voice cut through. Actually, she's not going anywhere. It's school hours. Students can't leave without proper authorization. Jonathan stood. I'm her father. I'm taking her home. Not without filling out an early dismissal form. Not without approval from the administration. Patricia pulled out her phone. In fact, given your hostile behavior, I'm calling security. Hostile behavior? I asked questions about discrimination. You're aggressive, confrontational. Your body language is threatening. Patricia spoke into her phone. Security to the cafeteria. We have a potentially dangerous situation. Dangerous? Jonathan's voice rose for the first time. I'm standing here talking. Anderson held up his hand. Hold up. Sir, you need to calm down. Your escalating tone is exactly what we're concerned about. My escalating tone? Your staff is segregating children and you're worried about my tone? 2 security guards arrived, both white, both are large. They positioned themselves on either side of Jonathan. Mr. Hayes, I'm going to ask you one more time to leave voluntarily. Anderson's voice went cold, professional, practiced. If you refuse, these gentlemen will escort you out, and we will file a no trespass order. A no trespass order? For asking why my daughter is being discriminated against? For causing a disturbance? For refusing to follow school protocols? For creating an unsafe environment? Patricia jumped in. And given your aggressive behavior, we'll need to review Maya's enrollment. We can't have parents who threaten staff, who create hostile situations. That violates our code of conduct. Maya grabbed Jonathan's arm. Dad, no, please. They'll expel me. Please just go. I'll be okay. You won't be okay. This isn't okay. I'll deal with it. I have been dealing with it. Please don't make it worse. Jonathan's heart shattered. His daughter was begging him to leave her in this nightmare, to walk away, to let it continue, because she was more afraid of being expelled than she was of being abused. Anderson nodded to the security guards. Gentlemen, please escort Mr. Hayes off campus. The guards moved in, grabbed Jonathan's arms, not gently, hard enough to bruise. Get your hands off me. Don't resist, sir. This will be easier if you cooperate. Patricia stood back, arms crossed, smiling. You should have known your place. Should have taught your daughter to know hers. But no. You people always think rules don't apply to you. You people? Jonathan stopped struggling, let the words hang there. Say that again. Slowly. Patricia's smile widened. You, people. The ones who get in through quotas, through forced diversity. The ones who don't contribute, who don't belong, who drag down our standards just by being here. The guards pulled Jonathan backward, toward the exit. Students watched. Some laughed. Brittany Whitmore stood with her friends, recording everything. This is going straight to TikTok. Scholarship Dad gets owned. Anderson walked beside the guards. Mr. Hayes, you are now banned from this campus. Any further attempts to enter will result in immediate arrest for criminal trespass. Additionally, we will be reviewing Maya's enrollment status. Given her family's inability to respect school authority, we may determine this isn't the right fit. Jonathan's feet dragged. The guards pulled harder. Maya followed, crying. Please don't expel me. Please, this is the only good school. If I get expelled, my record... Patricia called after them. Maybe you should have thought about that before your father came in here acting like a thug. Actions have consequences, sweetheart. You're about to learn that lesson. They reached the cafeteria exit. The guards shoved Jonathan through, not hard enough to make him fall, but hard enough to humiliate him. Other parents watched from volunteer tables. Some looked uncomfortable. Most looked satisfied. Order restored. Troublemaker removed. Problem solved. Anderson stood in the doorway, blocking Maya from following. Miss Hayes, return to your seat. Finish your lunch. We'll discuss your behavioral issues later. But my dad... Your father is no longer your concern right now. School policy is your concern. Now go sit down before I add insubordination to the list of problems we're documenting. Maya looked at Jonathan. Her eyes pleaded for help, for rescue, for anything. He couldn't give it to her. Not yet. Maya, listen to me. Go back inside. Sit down. Keep your head up. Everything is about to change, I promise you. How? They're kicking you out. They're going to expel me. Trust me, baby. One more hour. Just hold on for one more hour. Anderson pulled Maya back inside, slammed the door. The lock clicked. Jonathan stood in the parking lot. The guards flanked him until he reached his car. You heard the principal. You're not welcome here. Don't come back. Jonathan opened his car door, sat down, pulled out his phone. The recording was still running. 28 minutes of footage, clear audio, undeniable evidence. He scrolled through his contacts, made his first call. FBI Civil Rights Division. This is Secretary Jonathan Hayes. I need to activate an emergency federal investigation. I have documentation of systematic civil rights violations at a federally funded institution. I need a team at Pemberton Academy in 30 minutes. Sir, can you verify your identity? Jonathan recited his federal ID number, his authorization code, his direct line to the director. Verified, Mr. Secretary. Dispatching team now. What's the nature of the violations? Racial segregation, systematic discrimination against minor children, hostile environment, federal fund misappropriation, and assault on a federal official. Sir, did you say assault on a federal official? Yes. They put their hands on me, forcibly removed me, all captured on video. I want federal charges filed within the hour. Understood, sir. Team is mobilizing. Jonathan made his second call. Department of Justice. His third call. Deputy Secretary of Education. His fourth call. White House Counsel. His fifth call. The media. Then he started his car. Drove exactly 1 block. Parked where he could see the school entrance. And waited. Patricia Whitmore returned to the cafeteria, triumphant, glowing. She clapped her hands twice. Attention! Attention, everyone! Students looked up. Teachers turned. I want you all to witness what happens when people don't respect authority, when they don't know their place. She pointed toward Maya's corner. That girl's father just got permanently banned from this campus, and her enrollment is under review. Let this be a lesson. Pemberton has standards. We don't tolerate troublemakers. Scattered applause from the center tables. Brittany Whitmore whooped. Bye-bye, scholarship girl. Maya sat frozen. Tears streamed down her face. Silent now. Broken. Patricia walked over, leaned down. Your father should have taught you better. Should have taught you to be grateful for what you have. Now you'll probably lose it all. Such a shame. Principal Anderson entered, joined Patricia. They spoke in low tones, both smiling. Crisis averted. Order maintained. Anderson pulled out his phone, started typing. I'm drafting the expulsion letter now. We'll cite parental misconduct, hostile family environment, threat to campus safety. Make sure it's airtight, Patricia said. I don't want any appeals. I want her gone by Monday. Done. I'll have a legal review of it this afternoon. They high-fived. Actually, high-fived. 2 adults celebrating the destruction of a child's future. Outside, a sound grew, distant at first, then louder, rhythmic, mechanical, whump, 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 whump. Students rushed to the windows, pointed at the sky. A helicopter descended toward the athletic field. Black, unmarked, official. Then another sound. Sirens. Multiple vehicles. The parking lot was filled with SUVs, dark sedans, lights flashing. Patricia frowned, walked to the window. What on earth? Cars screeched to stops. Doors flew open. Men and women in dark suits emerged. Dozens of them. White letters on their backs. FBI, DOJ. Is this some kind of drill? Anderson's face went pale. More vehicles arrived. Local news vans, cameras, reporters setting up on the lawn. The cafeteria doors burst open. 15 federal agents entered. Tactical vests, weapons holstered but visible. They moved with military precision, positioned themselves at every exit. An agent in front held up credentials. FBI. Everyone remains calm. Stay seated. This is an official federal investigation. Patricia's mouth fell open. Investigation? Of what? Who called you? Ma'am, we'll explain shortly. Right now we need Principal Anderson and Patricia Whitmore to come with us. Anderson stepped forward. I'm Principal Anderson. There must be some mistake. We're a private educational institution. We haven't... No mistake, sir. Please come with us to your office. Now. The agents weren't asking. They were commanding. Patricia and Anderson exchanged glances, confused, nervous. But I'm still confident, still believing their authority meant something. They walked toward the main office. Agents surrounded them, flanked them, like suspects. The office door opened. More agents inside. They'd already secured the space. Computers, files, everything. And sitting in Anderson's chair, calm as Sunday morning, was Jonathan Hayes. Patricia's eyes went wide. You? How did you— Sit down, Mrs. Whitmore. I will not. Security. Get this man out of my— An agent stepped forward. Ma'am, sit. Down. The command in his voice left no room for argument. Patricia sat. Anderson collapsed into the other chair. His hands shook. Jonathan stood, reached into his jacket, pulled out a leather credential case. He placed it on the desk, opened it. The federal seal gleamed under the fluorescent lights. United States Department of Education, Office of the Secretary, Jonathan Hayes. The words hit like bullets. Patricia's face was drained of color, white, then gray. She gripped the armrests of her chair. Secretary, you're the Secretary of Education. Yes. The person who controls every federal dollar that flows into this institution. Anderson made a choking sound. His eyes rolled back. He slumped forward. An agent caught him before he hit the desk. Someone get him water, the lead FBI agent said. And a medic if he doesn't come around. Patricia stared at the badge. Jonathan, at the agents surrounding them. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Jonathan pulled out his phone, connected it to Anderson's computer. The large monitor on the wall flickered to life. I'm going to show you something. I want you to watch carefully. The video played, crystal clear, perfect audio. Patricia's voice echoed through the office. Maya Hayes, get back to the scholarship section. Her grabbing Maya's arm, the slap, the shove. Your kind gets in here through quotas, through pity. Every word, every action, 28 minutes of footage. Patricia shook her head. That's not— I didn't mean— It's out of context. Out of context. Jonathan's voice stayed eerily calm. Which part? The part where you hit my daughter? The part where you called us you people? The part where you threatened to destroy her future? Anderson came. Saw the video. Saw himself standing there. Doing nothing. Then ordering Jonathan removed. Oh God. Oh my God. Let me tell you what's happening right now, Jonathan said. As we speak, your federal funding is being frozen. $12 million. Gone. Patricia gasped. You can't— I can, and I did. 30 minutes ago. He turned to the FBI agent. Agent Morrison, please read them their rights. Wait! Patricia shot to her feet. An agent pushed her back down. Wait, please, I didn't know who you were. If I'd known— If you'd known, you would have what? Treated my daughter like a human being? Only treated her with dignity because her father has power? Jonathan leaned forward. That's exactly the problem, Mrs. Whitmore. Agent Morrison stepped forward. Patricia Whitmore, David Anderson, you're both under arrest for violation of federal civil rights law, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You have the right to remain silent. Patricia's face crumpled. Tears started. Real ones now. Not righteous anger, pure terror. Please, I have grandchildren here. I've worked here for 30 years. I'll lose my pension, my reputation, everything. Jonathan thought of Maya's face, her tears, her begging him to leave so she wouldn't get expelled. You should have thought about that before you hurt children. Agent Morrison pulled out handcuffs. The metal clicked around Patricia's wrists. Then Anderson's. No, please. Not in front of everyone. Please. But the agents led them out, through the main office, into the hallway where students and teachers watched through windows, past the cafeteria where Maya sat, still frozen, still not understanding, out the front doors where cameras waited, where the world was watching. Patricia Whitmore, handcuffed, crying, destroyed. Exactly as she deserved. The FBI vehicle pulled away. Patricia and Anderson sat in the back seat, handcuffed, crying. Cameras captured everything. Students pressed against windows. Phones recorded. The video would be viral within the hour. Jonathan stood on the front steps. Deputy Secretary Maria Carter arrived in a black sedan. She'd driven from D.C. the moment he called. "Mr. Secretary, the building is secure. Federal oversight is active. Convene emergency assembly. Everyone. 15 minutes. Inside the cafeteria, chaos erupted. Teachers couldn't control students. Questions flew. Accusations. Panic. Maya sat frozen in her corner. A young Latina teacher knelt beside her. "Miss Rodriguez." "Honey, is that man really your father? The Secretary of Education?" Maya nodded. Couldn't speak. "Oh God, I should have helped you. I'm so sorry." Other students backed away from Maya's table. The girl they'd mocked now held power. Real power. Federal power. Brittany Whitmore frantically texted her grandmother. No response. Called. Voicemail. Her hands shook. Her friends whispered, "Your grandma got arrested. We're screwed. Delete your videos." Too late. The FBI had already subpoenaed the school's servers. Every post, every video, every text, all evidence now. The PA system crackled. All students and staff went to the gymnasium immediately. Mandatory assembly. The gym filled within minutes. 450 students, 60 staff members. Federal agents lined the walls. Silent, professional, intimidating. Jonathan entered. Deputy Secretary Carter beside him. 3 FBI agents followed. Complete silence fell. Jonathan walked to center court. No microphone needed. His voice carried. "My name is Jonathan Hayes, United States Secretary of Education, Maya Hayes' father." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "This morning I came to bring my daughter lunch. Instead, I witnessed federal crimes, civil rights violations, child abuse." He connected his phone to the projection system. The video filled the massive screen. Patricia's voice boomed. "Scholarship trash doesn't sit at premium tables." The slap, the shove, the cruelty. 28 minutes played. Students watched themselves, their teachers, their administrators. The system they'd normalized. Some cried, some looked away, some vomited. The video ended. Silence crushed the room. Patricia Whitmore and Principal Anderson are now in federal custody. They face 5 to 10 years in prison for civil rights violations. A girl collapsed. Teachers caught her. Every staff member who witnessed discrimination will be interviewed by the FBI. Every student who participated faces disciplinary action. Every parent who supports this faces questions. Jonathan's eyes swept the crowd. This school received $12 million in federal funding last year. Money that came with legal requirements, equal treatment, equal access, equal dignity. He paused. "You violated every single requirement. Your funding is frozen. If we find misappropriation, administrators face fraud charges. If we confirm systematic discrimination, you lose accreditation. This school could close permanently." Teachers sobbed. Careers ending. Reputations destroyed. "But first, right now, today," Jonathan pointed to Maya, "every student who was segregated and abused will receive a public apology." Deputy Secretary Carter stepped forward. "Students of color who experienced discrimination come to center court." 14 students moved forward slowly. Years of being told to stay back made this surreal. Maya walked with them, all ages, all carrying the same pain. Jonathan addressed the crowd. "Look at them. These children came here to learn, to grow. You destroyed them, daily, systematically." He knelt before Maya. "Baby, I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't know. Sorry I didn't see. Sorry I failed to protect you." Maya collapsed into his arms. Months of pain exploded, months of silence, months of shame that was never hers. "I've got you now. Nobody will hurt you again." The gymnasium erupted. Not applause, crying, guilt, realization. Jonathan stood, addressed the school. "Starting today, everything changes. The new administration takes over tomorrow. Federal monitors will be present daily. Every policy will be reviewed. Every practice is examined." He looked at the staff. "Those of you who stayed silent, who looked away, who enabled this, you have one chance. Cooperate fully with investigators. Tell the truth. Help us understand how this happened. Or face charges as accessories." He looked at the students. "Those who participated in harassment, you'll complete mandatory counseling, community service, write formal apologies. Your college applications will include documentation of this incident and your remediation." Finally, he looked at the 14 students standing beside Maya. "And these young people? They'll receive full scholarships, counseling support, academic assistance, everything this school should have provided from day one." He turned to leave, stopped, looked back. "One more thing. The cafeteria segregation ends today, permanently. Anyone who attempts to enforce it answers to the FBI." Jonathan took Maya's hand, led her out of the gymnasium, past silent students, past crying teachers, past the system that broke her, into sunlight, into freedom, into justice. The FBI investigation exploded within 48 hours. Agents interviewed 217 people, students, parents, former employees. The stories poured out like a broken dam. Maria Carter sat in FBI headquarters. Files covered every surface. An agent dropped another folder on the stack. "Former student, graduated 5 years ago, same abuse, same Patricia Whitmore." Maria read the transcript. Her stomach turned. "How far back does this go?" 12 years, maybe longer. 12 years of children traumatized. 12 years of systematic cruelty. The Department of Justice assigned lead prosecutor Sandra Williams. She'd handled civil rights cases for 20 years. Never saw evidence this clear. They documented their own crimes. Sandra held up a journal. "Patricia's discipline log. Listen to this." She read aloud. "Removed 3 diversity students from premium seating today. They need constant reminders of their place. If we don't maintain standards, these people will think they belong everywhere." Her team sat stunned. She wrote it down, dated it, signed it. Internal emails surfaced during discovery. Anderson to Patricia. "Board asking questions about diversity funding. Keep scholarship students visible in photos but separated in practice. Donors complaining about too much mixing." Patricia's response. "Understood. Good families shouldn't tolerate integration during lunch. That's what they pay for." A financial audit revealed massive fraud. Pemberton claimed 52 diversity students for federal funding. Actual number? 15. Where did the $9.4 million go? Administrator bonuses. Facility upgrades for donor wings. Nothing for students it was meant to serve. New charges filed. Wire fraud. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. False statements to federal agencies. Bail set at $500,000 each. Neither could pay. Federal detention. Patricia's first lawyer quit after 2 weeks. "I can't defend this. She wrote down her crimes." The second lawyer lasted a month. "Every day, another victim comes forward. We're drowning." The trial began 6 months later. Federal courthouse, media everywhere, national attention. 17 families joined as plaintiffs, seeking damages, seeking justice, seeking acknowledgement. First witness, Maya Hayes. She walked to the stand. 13 now, taller, stronger, still carrying weight. Prosecutor Sandra Williams approached gently. Maya, tell the jury about your first day at Pemberton. Maya described the excitement. New uniform. Hope. Then lunch. Patricia grabbed her arm, being shoved to the corner. Called scholarship trash. I didn't tell my dad because I thought it was my fault. I thought if I worked harder, was quieter, smaller, maybe they'd let me sit with everyone else. Did that work? No. It got worse. Patricia made examples of us, called us out publicly, reminded everyone we didn't belong. Tears streamed down her face. The worst part wasn't the words. It was watching teachers do nothing, watching parents agree, realizing the whole system was built to hurt us. Patricia stared at her lap, wouldn't look up. Maya testified for 3 hours. The jury cried openly. Next witness, Miguel Rodriguez, 15, Latino. Patricia wouldn't let me use the bathroom during lunch. Said diversity students had designated times. I had to wait 90 minutes. I wet myself. She made me clean it up while everyone watched. He broke down. I transferred schools. I still have nightmares. 14 students testified, all with similar stories, all traumatized, all scared. Former teacher Ashley Morrison testified, white, mid-30s. Quit 3 years ago. I tried to stop it once. Patricia went to Anderson. He told me if I wanted to keep my job, I'd remember who paid my salary. The diversity students weren't those people. What did you do? I quit. I've regretted my silence every day since. Jonathan testified as an expert witness, explained what segregation does to developing brains, psychological impact, long-term consequences. These children internalize that they're inferior, unworthy, that their existence is a burden. It affects academic performance, mental health, their entire sense of self. He looked at the jury. My daughter told me she wished she could disappear, stop existing, because existing meant taking up space she didn't deserve. That's what Pemberton did to her. The defense called no witnesses. Evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, damning. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 3 weeks later. Patricia stood before Judge Martinez. Black woman, grew up poor, grew up, fought through a system designed to stop her. Mrs. Whitmore, you targeted vulnerable children who trusted institutions to protect them. You weaponized your position to inflict maximum psychological harm. Pause. Let the words settle. 5 years in federal prison. No early release. Lifetime ban from working with children. $1.2 million restitution. Patricia collapsed. Guards caught her. Anderson received 3 years. $800,000 restitution. Lifetime education ban. 3 other administrators received probation. Careers over. Reputations destroyed. Civil case settled. $22 million from insurance. $8 million from Pemberton liquidated assets. But money wasn't the victory. Transformation was. Pemberton fired the entire administration. Hired Dr. Jennifer Washington. Black woman, 25 years fighting for equity. Within 1 year, 40% of students of color. Real diversity. Real integration. Real change. Cafeteria renovated. All premium seating removed. 1 community space. Renamed Maya Hayes Justice Hall. Congress passed the Educational Equity and Transparency Act 8 months later. Journalists called it Maya's Law. Required all private schools receiving federal funds to report demographic data. Seating arrangements, discipline rates, resource allocation. Everything is transparent. Monitored. Violations meant immediate funding loss. Federal investigation. Criminal prosecution. Within 2 years, 47 schools self-reported violations. 12 lost accreditation. 3 closed permanently. The Department of Education created a national hotline. Students reported discrimination anonymously. Trained counselors responded. Federal investigators followed up. First year, 3,000 reports. The problem was bigger than anyone imagined. Netflix produced a documentary. Lunchroom Justice, The Pemberton Case. Emmy winner. Required viewing in education programs nationwide. Footage of Patricia's arrest played on loop. Her words, actions, collapse. A cautionary tale in high definition. Maya appeared at the end. 14 now. Confidence, strong. What happened to me happens to thousands of kids every day. My dad had the power to fight back. Most families don't. That's why Maya's law matters. It gives everyone that power. The documentary ended with a call to action. Website. Movement. Students across America sharing stories. The silence was breaking. Finally, completely. Permanently. Patricia Whitmore became exactly what she feared most. Not a symbol of standards and excellence, a symbol of shame, of hatred, of everything wrong with institutions that claim inclusion while practicing exclusion. Her name would live forever, but not the way she wanted. As a warning, as a lesson, as proof that justice, though sometimes slow, eventually comes for those who hurt children. 3 years later, Maya Hayes stood at the podium in Pemberton Academy's auditorium. Not the scared 12-year-old who ate lunch in corners. A confident 15-year-old who'd changed the world. Valedictorian. Perfect GPA. Harvard early admission with full scholarship. She looked out at the audience. Students, parents, media. Her father is in the front row. 3 years ago, I wanted to disappear. I thought if I could just be smaller, quieter, invisible, maybe the pain would stop. Her voice carried. Strong. Clear. No hesitation. My father came to bring me lunch. Just lunch. A simple surprise. Instead, he discovered I was living in hell. And he had a choice. He could have taken me home, transferred me somewhere else, made the problem go away quietly. She paused. But he didn't. He chose justice, not just for me, for every child suffering in silence. The audience erupted in applause. Maya waited for silence. Patricia Whitmore is in prison. Principal Anderson is banned from education forever. The system that protected them is dismantled. Maya's law is changing schools across America. She looked directly at the camera. But the work isn't finished. 3,000 kids reported discrimination in the first year after Maya's law passed. 3,000. That's 3,000 families who needed my father's power to fight back, who needed federal law to protect their children. Her eyes blazed. Discrimination thrives in silence. It dies when we speak, when we document, when we refuse to accept that cruelty is normal. Maya stepped back. Jonathan joined her on stage. They stood together, father and daughter, warriors. Jonathan took the microphone. I came to bring my daughter sandwiches, turkey and Swiss, extra pickles. I left with evidence that destroyed careers. That changed laws. That transformed an institution. His voice softened. But I failed too. 7 months. Maya suffered for 7 months before I knew. Before I saw. That failure haunts me. He looked at parents in the audience. How well do you know your child's daily reality? Not what they tell you, what they actually experience, the humiliations they hide, the pain they carry, the dignity they sacrifice to protect you from worry. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. True. Go to their school unannounced. Eat lunch with them. Watch how adults treat them. Watch how other students treat them. Don't trust brochures. Don't trust promises. Trust your eyes. Jonathan held up his phone. This device recorded 28 minutes that changed everything. 28 minutes of evidence. That's all justice needed. He pointed at the audience. You have that power too. Document, record, report. The national hotline is 1-800-MAYA-LAW. Anonymous, confidential. Action guaranteed. Maya returned to the microphone. Pemberton is different now. Dr. Washington transformed this place. The cafeteria that broke me is now named for me. The corner where I cried is gone. Everyone sits together. Everyone belongs. She smiled. Genuine. Radiant. I love this school now. That's the proof. The girl who wanted to disappear now stands here proud. That's what real change looks like. The auditorium stood. Applause thundered. Phones recorded. This moment would go viral. Was already going viral. Jonathan and Maya walked off stage together, past the spot where Patricia once stood, past the office where Anderson made his calls, past the cafeteria entrance where everything changed. Outside, news crews waited. Jonathan gave a final statement. 3 years ago, I witnessed injustice that left me speechless. Today, I'm not speechless anymore. None of us should be. When you see wrong, speak. When you see cruelty, act. When you see children suffering, become the adult they need. He squeezed Maya's hand. My daughter taught me that. She survived. She thrived. She transformed her pain into power. Every child deserves that chance. The cameras captured it all. This would play on every news channel, every social media platform. The story that wouldn't die, because it shouldn't die, because thousands of children still needed rescue, still needed adults who wouldn't look away. Jonathan and Maya drove away from Pemberton, the school where her nightmare began, where justice prevailed, where hope rebuilt itself from ashes. Maya looked at her father. Dad, do you think we really changed things? Yes, but not enough. Not yet. Then we keep going. We keep going. The car disappeared down the road, toward whatever came next, toward more fights, more victories. More children were saved. Because one lunch visit changed everything. One father who refused to stay silent. One daughter who refused to stay invisible. One moment of courage that shattered decades of cruelty. Now it's your turn. Share this story. Let it spark conversations. Let it make people uncomfortable. Let it force examination. Subscribe to Black Tales Stories for more stories where justice wins. Where the powerless gain power. Where wrongs are righted. Follow the movement. Join the fight. Be the witness who doesn't look away. Most importantly, answer these questions honestly. Where are the Patricia Whitmores in your community? What segregation exists that everyone pretends not to see? When you witness injustice against a child, what will you do? Will you look away and let it continue? Or will you be the person who changes everything? Your answer matters. Your choice matters. Your courage matters. Because somewhere right now, a child is sitting in a corner, eating lunch alone, believing they deserve it. What will you do about it?